entitled 2021 Trend, Holistic Diversity. And my name is Diane Lightfoot, and I have the pleasure of being Chief Executive of Business Disability Forum, a UK-based not-for-profit that supports businesses to get better at recruiting, retaining and developing disabled employees and supporting disabled customers. And I am lucky enough to be chairing this panel, where I am joined by three inspirational leaders whom I'm delighted to welcome to the Dial Global virtual stage. They are Anna Dixon, Chief Executive of the Centre for Ageing Better. Hello, Anna.
Hi, Diane.
Nancy Kelley, Chief Executive of Stonewall. Hello, Nancy.
Hello, everyone.
And last but not least, Steve Kenzie of the UN Global Compact UK Network. Hello, Steve.
Hi, Diane. Hi, everyone.
It's also really personal for me. So I have lots of ways in which I'm privileged. I'm a white woman, for instance. I've got a good job these days, but I'm also a lesbian from a working class background. I'm neurodiverse, and it's really important to me to be visible in all of those things, in all of those parts of my identity as a leader. And I think that's something that we also try and encourage leaders in organisations that are comfortable to be out about their own experience and their own identities. That can be a really powerful way of creating inclusive and welcoming environments.
Thank you, Nancy. Completely agree with all that, and I want to live in a world where being called a social justice warrior is probably the ultimate compliment, actually.
We've seen an example already, a recent example with regard to gender pay gap reporting, and that this is data affecting 50% of the population, many of that 50% in leadership positions. Most companies already had that data available to them, and none were voluntarily sharing it. So to think that we're going to see a wave of transparency and reporting across 10 facets, where most companies do not have data yet on all of these facets. In fact, just collecting data on many of these is tremendously difficult. So I think that it's probably not realistic. I also suggest that I'm not sure that it's a hill we want to die on. I think people with a vested, with a particular stake in any given facet, that's undoubtedly uncomfortable hearing that. And it's not to say again that it's right, but I think just as there's intersectionality in the facets, there's also intersectionality in the solutions. And I think really central to that is creating inclusive cultures in a workplace. And in so doing, we can move the dial, to use Layla's phrase, across a wide range of these issues.
So I think it's really critical that we do take this holistic approach, because as everybody's been saying, we bring our whole selves to work as well. I think Layla was just amazingly inspiring in her story about that and her passion for why diverse and inclusive workplaces really matter. From the evidence and research that we've looked at, there's specific data to suggest that age diverse teams outperform those that are not age diverse. And so I think there are genuine productivity benefits for business that sort of go beyond the more moral case for inclusive workplaces. And at the moment, we see that there are people who want to be working into later life, who obviously have experience, skills and talent. And at the moment, recruitment strategies and the recruitment processes, for whatever reason, are, not are discriminating against them. And so we're losing out on experienced, talent, skills, capable people who could be adding value to our businesses and our workplaces.
So I think at Stonewall, we imagine a world where all LGBTQ plus people are free from harm, where we're embraced and included. We imagine a world where all of us can achieve our potential. And we aren't just one thing. We are people of colour, we are disabled people, we are old, we are young. So it's an incredibly diverse set of communities that I'm privileged to be part of. And so I would start by asking people if they can imagine the same world, right? And can you imagine a world in which your business is really successful at connecting with communities and embracing the talent, the creativity that all colleagues can bring to the table? Because I think for me, the starting point, and it's echoes some of what Steve's saying, is diversity is our reality. It's the world we're in. It's our customers, it's our colleagues, it's our suppliers, it's our communities. So embracing diversity isn't an add-on. Embracing diversity is embracing the world as it is. And no business is going to succeed in the modern world if it's not embracing both the reality and the potential of diversity. We know that where kind of organizations reject that, where they try and stay really monocultural, lots of things go wrong. Those businesses fail to work with and welcome the world as it is. They struggle to connect authentically. There's real risk of kind of tokenistic engagement, but there's also a risk of shutting out whole communities, whole markets of customers, whole ranges of partners. And critically, picking up Steve's point, they'll find it hard to build talented, innovative teams. And that one.
Yeah, just if I may, Dan, come in briefly. In a sense, I already talked about the positive business benefit, but Steve was sort of picking up there about the in a sense, the costs. And I think the evidence we've done about what actions evidence say would make a difference to an age-friendly workplace. So highlighting flexibility, support for people with health conditions or caring, opportunities for career progression, these are things, and debiasing the recruitment process. These are things that actually can help create a diverse workforce and actually remove barriers for many different people. And so I do think that the sort of business case on that side is actually there's some fairly straightforward fixes that are probably things that are good to do anyway. I mean, we've been all in a way forced to do a certain type of flexibility because of COVID, and there's been a huge acceleration obviously in home working and also flexible hour working. But that is something about how do you harness the benefits, for example, of flexibility, making sure it's actually advertised, it's available from day one of hire, that you're really clear that everyone has the right to request. Those are things that are going to really positively impact not only attracting older workers, but actually probably workers of all ages and other people with other diversity characteristics.
That also goes back to the piece as well that for a lot, though not all, of course, strands of diversity, identity isn't static. And one of my former colleagues used to refer to people as being either disabled or not disabled yet. And the common perception is that disability is something from birth, but actually 83% of disabilities are acquired in working age. So all these things we're talking about are part of humanity and the human condition. And a note on white men, if I may. About 18 months or so ago, pre-COVID, the Women and Equalities Committee in the UK had a consultation on men and mental health, and we did some research, and there was this huge impact for men, not just white men, of mental health. But we then went on to have a panel that shared the experiences, and it happened to be a panel of white men, and we thought, how is this going to go down at a disability and diversity conference? Actually, it was electrifying. People sharing their experiences of really kind of near death, very, very traumatic experiences. So actually privilege comes in many shapes and sizes, and it can go away.